heavy rain, flooding, major concerns right now as the storm is expected to sit over South Carolina for 2 days.
Now, nearly 500,000 people have evacuated. Many of those stayed behind, have made their way to Berkeley County.
And that is where we find our Angela Brown tonight. She is live at Goose Creek High School. That's where Red Cross leaders say they are now at capacity. Angela.
All right, so Angela was over at Goose Creek High School. Earlier in the day during the state press conference, they said 2 evacuation shelters across the entire state were at capacity, and both of those right here in the Low Country, Flowertown Elementary and also Goose Creek. But yet out of the 70 shelters here in the state, only 14% of them were being filled right then. The good news is they were sending some 5,000 cots to the 6,000 people in those shelters. So people there at those shelters being taken care of. Also, there's some question about food. They addressed that today as well. Said there is food also at those shelters taking care of the people.
We'll check back in with Angela here shortly, but first we want to get you caught up on what's happening with Florence, the track right now. Our chief meteorologist Dave Williams here with that. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, and we're not out of the woods. We are going to see tropical storm force winds, and we're going to see some torrential downpours, which will cause some localized flooding. There's Florence, winds of 70 miles an hour, making it a tropical storm, no longer a hurricane. And look at how slow the movement is on this storm. Westerly at 3, and that's going to continue to slide off to the west. I do think there's going to be a sag to the south, and as it sags to the south, that will bring the rain in our direction. And one thing Sonia and I were just looking at, look at this little blow up on the backside. So you've got the one there, but watch here real quickly. That's a band of heavy rainfall taking shape. You can see it in the satellite imagery. It's not raining at Edisto Beach right now. George Sink Injury Lawyers, Skyview Network. We've got a temperature of 84 degrees at the Charleston Airport. And right now, in between some of those clouds, plenty of sun at the Charleston Airport. Now here's our confidence on this, and we're not quite as confident that we're going to get the flooding. That's fine. We don't want the flooding. So there could be some localized flooding, but it's not going to be everywhere, and it's going to be mainly in northern Berkeley County, northern Charleston County, Georgetown, and Williamsburg County. So if you're south of that, headed toward I-26, I think there could be some localized spots where it does flood. And as far as the tropical storm force winds, we're going to get those through pretty much the entire viewing area because that's going to spread down in our direction. And that's why there's a tropical storm warning now for everyone except Colleton County. And that tropical storm warning means that we're going to get those tropical storm conditions. Notice the hurricane warnings were discontinued for Myrtle Beach and Georgetown, which is expected because we no longer have a hurricane. It's just a tropical storm. Flash flood watches just about everywhere, and that means the flash flooding is going to spread its way down, and eventually we're going to see some river flooding, especially in the PD Basin off to our north. Our rivers here, especially the Edisto River on into the Ashley River, we're not going to see the flooding along these rivers because we're not going to get the heavy rainfall in their basin. The basin is the PD Basin that's going to get really drenched, especially up into North Carolina. Here are the rain showers moving into Berkeley County, northern Charleston County. It's slow, but it's spreading its way down, and we're seeing that little bit heavier band of rain back here along the Georgetown and Horry County line and stretching back into Williamsburg County. Some moderate to heavy rainfall right now, slowly working its way from the north down to the south. It's taken a while, but eventually it will get here, especially overnight tonight into early Saturday. Here's our storm, and it's always been known that the northern side of the storm was going to be the stronger side. It certainly has. That's where your tornado threat is. Still a surge threat up here north of Wilmington with that onshore flow, and that's where the strongest of the thunderstorms are. Eventually some of this is going to wrap around, and this storm will spread out, and that's as it weakens. And that's when we'll see the heavier rain making its way into the low country. Our track on Florence takes it off to the south, 2 o'clock in the morning. It looks like it's going to be moving back through the PD. We'll continue forward in time, and that storm will start to fall apart even more on Sunday morning, and it starts to exit the state headed into next week. As far as what we've got with our tropical impacts, this is how they shape up. Tropical storm force winds, those are still expected tonight and through the first part of your Saturday. Dangerous ocean conditions as those winds pick up will be with us. Some flooding possible in just mainly some neighborhoods. If you get flooding in your neighborhood from one of those big summertime thunderstorms, you could see some flooding over the weekend. Changes will be due to the exact track of that storm as it moves through the state. Rain and wind tonight, tomorrow, and then looking a little better tomorrow night, and it continues to look even better after that. We'll talk more about your full forecast. That's coming up in a couple of minutes.
Dave, thanks. A live look now at the Isle of Palms this evening, seeing plenty of people taking a stroll earlier today. And the wind, of course, very high out there on IOP right now, even a few bars open as well. We will check back in from the IOP a little later. But first, joining us now from the other side of the Atlantic, Ben Garbarek. He's from our sister station in Columbus, Ohio, visiting us here in the Holy City. He has more tonight on conditions right now on Folly Beach. Hi, Ben.
Well, hello there. So far, no rain. We've had a little bit of wind picking up, and right now, just about everything here in Folly Beach is closed. All the restaurants, all the bars, but the one place that's still open is right here at Burt's Market. It's right on all of their hats. They say, we may doze, but we never close. Let's head on inside. I'll show you a little bit what we're talking about. All the people who live here have been telling me this is the place where we need to go. We're going to talk with David over here. He's one of the assistant managers here. And so, David, I mean, tell me, why is it that you guys are deciding to stay open even with Hurricane Florence heading this way?
Just because the community needs somewhere to be open, and if they need anything, we're glad to help.
And it seems like it's a real point of pride for a lot of folks around here that, you know, with the worst case scenario, this place will still be open if folks need something.
Yeah, or if it gets too dangerous, you know, we have to leave too. But like I said, we'd like to be here for people if they need anything, you know, off the island, because anywhere else you go, it's close too.
And what do you hear from a lot of the people who decided to stay, even though there is that mandatory evacuation going on here?
Just that, you know, we've been through this, and it doesn't seem that dangerous no more. It went down, and we've been monitoring it, so pretty much that.
Yeah, and right now there is a curfew in effect here in Folly Beach. That's from 9 p.m. until 7 a.m. And local emergency officials say that curfew will continue to be in effect until 24 hours after the storm. Anyone who's trying to get here to Folly Beach, though, it's only open for residents. There is a police checkpoint, and local officials say people will have to bring 2 forms of ID to show that they live here in order to get onto the island. Live in Folly Beach, I'm Ben Garbarek, ABC News 4.
All right, Ben, appreciate it. New at 6 o'clock tonight, Joint Base Charleston said a decision has not been made as to when to open the airport. There was a report earlier that it would open Saturday at noon. But Joint Base, they own the runways, now say not so fast. Officials say it could open first thing Sunday morning, but will all depend on the weather. You'll need to check with your airline. To do that, head to abcnews4.com and search Flight Tracker.
Florence now a tropical storm, like we said, but not before killing 5 people, also leaving a path of destruction. A live report coming from Wilmington.
But first, a live look right now at Garden City, about 10 miles south of Myrtle Beach. Our Dave Williams breaking down what's next for Tropical Storm Florence as one of those heavy rain bands moving through the Grand Strand. But first, if you have some really cool video or pictures that you'd love for us to see, we want to see it. Feel free to chime in, send them our way at abcnews4.com/chime in. They could be on TV. We're back after this.
never drive across water-covered roadways, which is the main cause of freshwater fatalities.
Well, many of our hospital workers often forced to drive those flooded streets downtown until now.
But thanks to a donation, they don't have to worry about that anymore. Our Bill Burr joining us with details.
As the Lowcountry waits to find out what's going to happen with Hurricane Florence, the folks at Medical University of South Carolina have a new tool on hand to help evacuate employees in case of an emergency. Lieutenant Brian Wood is the emergency manager here at MUSC. Lieutenant, tell us about this special equipment that you have just behind us.
This is what they call an LMTV, which is a light medium tactical vehicle. It's a military truck that's able to ford through high levels of water. We're particularly susceptible to flooding and storm surge inundation here in Charleston. And at MUSC, we want to make sure that we have every contingency possible so that we will be able to get our personnel in and out of the peninsula in order to provide the critical care to our community that we take so deeply to heart.
If you have to use it, do people have to wear these special vests then?
So
these jackets?
These special vests, and I have one for you right now if you want to put it on.
Sure, here, let's put it on. Just in case, hopefully we won't have to use this with Florence nearby. But
we pray that we never have to use this truck. So these special jackets are for the public safety crew that are going to be operating these vehicles. The individuals who we would transport in this, hopefully they would have their own raincoat already. So
this is a military unit, and this is for MUSC employees only. And why is it so important that you have this type of vehicle down here?
Well, we want to make sure that should any flooding occur anywhere within Charleston, we want to make sure that we could bring in surgeons, nurses, doctors into our facilities here on our campus. And we want to make sure that should we need to move anything around our campus, no matter what the circumstances are, we'll be able to get that accomplished.
And unfortunately, even though this is the beautiful medical district of downtown Charleston, it can also be the flooding district.
All of Charleston and all of the Lowcountry is susceptible to flooding. In particular with a hurricane that we just saw, if you look at the images in New Bern, North Carolina, with that storm surge that came in, roughly, I haven't looked at the exact data right now, but storm surge estimates were looking at anywhere from 9 feet plus, and that 9 feet plus could be up to 20 feet. We just don't know. And so we want to make sure that we're prepared here. We want to make sure that we can provide the critical care to our community that we love so much.
Lieutenant Brian Wood, thanks very much for your help. We appreciate it, and I presume you'll be on standby here for at least the next 48 hours or so.
I hope to go home following this incident and following after everybody is safe in the Lowcountry.
Lieutenant, thank you so very much. The folks here at the Medical University of South Carolina on guard here, depending on what happens here with Hurricane Florence. The nickname of this baby here is called Big Blue, and they're going to keep it on standby here to help employees if in case an evacuation is necessary. I'm Bill Burr, ABC News 4.
ABC News 4 First Warning Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Williams.
We continue our weather ready day, and that's going to be through the rest of your Friday, and we're including Saturday, but this has been a fluid situation, so we've changed it a little bit. I don't think Sunday is going to be a weather ready day. It's just tonight and into the day tomorrow. After that, Florence will have weakened enough and pushed far enough away that we're not looking at any dangerous conditions. We're still at the yellow level, not up at the red, not down at the green. So we've got to be cautious as we proceed forward, and Florence brings us those impacts tonight and into the day tomorrow. Latest on Florence, 70-mile-an-hour winds. It's right near the North South Carolina border. It hasn't dipped too much to the south. It's been continuing to move off to the west, but at a snail's pace. I can walk faster than that. 3 miles an hour, it's moving off to the west, so I could outwalk Florence if I really wanted to. This will start to change, but it looks like it's going to dip to the south and eventually move off to the west, and that's when we're going to see some of the heavier rain working in and some of the tropical storm force winds. We are under a tropical storm warning, but the hurricane warnings have been allowed to expire. We're on the weaker side of Florence, and thank goodness, because the devastation up in North Carolina from the storm surge and the flooding has been just terrible to look at, and they're getting even more of that as we go through the next several hours because they've got the heavy rain continuing to come down. We're going to get some of the gusty winds, tropical storm force indeed, that's over 40 miles an hour. Heavy downpours, especially after midnight tonight and into the first part of your Saturday, that could cause some localized flooding. It's not going to be the massive river flooding that does so much damage. It's going to be localized here and there, but not everywhere. It's better than first anticipated because we did think there was going to be some widespread flooding, but now it just doesn't look like that because the heavier rain has been off to the north, and we're just now starting to see some of the showers work into our area. So here you go. Everybody wants me to break it down for their backyard. So if you live in Colleton County and southern Charleston County, southern Dorchester County, you're going to get about 1 to 2 inches. That's right along the Edisto River, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. But then you head up towards Somerville, you move into Goose Creek here, Ladson, headed toward Hanahan, North Charleston, Charleston, West Ashley, Hollywood, Ravenel, including Mount Pleasant. If I haven't hit your neighborhood and you're in this area along the I-26 corridor, you can expect about 2 to 4 inches of rain or so. And then you head a little farther to the north, right along the Santee River, right there, you can expect about 2 to 5 inches of rain. That includes Monk's Corner, Bono, St. Stephen, on over toward McClellanville, even Ondaw, 2 to 5 inches of rain. And then when you move through Williamsburg and Georgetown County, 3 to 8 inches of rain. The real heavy rain has been up into North Carolina, where they've seen over 1.5 feet of rain in some spots already. But that's where the storm came on shore, and we knew the northern side of the storm would be the stronger side. 30-mile-an-hour winds right now in Myrtle Beach, 31 in Florence. Those are the sustained winds. We're looking at gusts. Wow, check that out. 52-mile-an-hour wind gust right now in Florence, and that's what's going to start to spread down our way. But also, here's the center of Florence. Florence is right on about the same line, if not on the northern side of the center of the storm. So they're going to pick up those stronger winds. And we're still looking at winds gusting over 30 in Charleston, right at 30 in Orangeburg. There's Florence spreading the heavy rain through South Carolina, in the northeastern South Carolina and southern North Carolina. Myrtle Beach picking up the heavy rain. Britton's Neck right on into northern Georgetown County along Highway 701 there around Plantersville. We've got the heavy rain coming down around Murrells Inlet, and that's going to slowly move south. Look at this from Jamestown back towards St. Stephen. There's that heavy rain right along the Santee River, and it's slowly working its way south. Monk's Corner getting some of that rain cross Ondaw, and that will continue to move toward the Charleston Metro. Especially this batch you see right there. Moderate to heavy rain swinging through all of Berkeley County here, and that's going to head over toward Charleston. So what do we have coming our way? Futurecast will help us to see. Wind forward in time. There we are, 1 o'clock in the morning. Heavy rain finally for just about everyone in the Tri-County area. Then as we head up toward 8 tomorrow morning, some moderate to heavy rain still possible, and through the day tomorrow as these bands come through, that's when you'll see the tropical storm force winds and those heavy downpours. But look at 9 p.m. tomorrow. Florence weakens quite a bit. The heavy rain still up in North Carolina, and that's where it's going to be, right along the North-South Carolina border as we go into our Saturday and Sunday, and that storm continues to move away. We'll keep some scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, but looking much better. Windy with tropical downpours tonight. That's what you can expect. You'll hear that howling wind outside if you're trying to catch some Z's overnight tonight. 83 tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms, those gusty winds gusting up over tropical storm force. The next week looks like this. It'll be a little cooler tomorrow with the rain and the wind. Then we heat things back up, moving toward next week as the rain chances drop. And look at that sunshine. Takes us all the way back up around 90 as we move into the middle of next week.
All right, Dave, thank you. We want to show you this just that came down from the Isle of Palms Police Department. They have lost their non-emergency number due to a power surge at the public safety building. So they have this temporary phone call if you do have an emergency to report, 843-343-9979. Again, 343-9979. That is their non-emergency phone line.
Florence made landfall just before sunrise in North Carolina. Since then, that storm has made a slow, steady march inland. So far, 5 people have been reported dead. Maxine Bensel joining us live tonight with the very latest out of Wilmington.
Well, we're just several miles from where Florence made landfall this morning, and as your meteorologist said, it is moving slow, and we can tell how much it's slowed down because in just the past 3 hours we've been seeing a lot of this, the same heavy wind and sideways rain. And the big story here today is really a lot of downed trees. It's more wind problems than rain. Downed trees and downed power lines. You can take a look at this one huge in this driveway right here. It actually had our car blocked in this morning. Luckily, some people came and were able to cut it up so we could get out. If we take a look over here, we got another big tree down, and really throughout this entire neighborhood, that's what we're seeing. This entire area without power as well. I think we lost power around 6 a.m. this morning. So really, we're just monitoring all these downed trees, debris, but the rain hasn't been too bad. It's been constant, but it hasn't been pounding and pouring as much as we were expecting. A lot of people really surprised to wake up and see all these downed trees in the area. It's just not what they were expecting from Hurricane Florence. Reporting live tonight in Wilmington, I'm Maxine Bensel.
All right, Maxine, thank you. Now a live look at Memorial Waterfront Park in Mount Pleasant.
The clouds starting to move in from Tropical Storm Florence.
Right, I imagine I would be gone long.
Finally tonight, Hurricane Florence roaring into North Carolina, bringing with it a nearly 10 feet storm surge.
Yeah, during the height of the storm, officials say there were more than 300 people waiting to be rescued. Who was there to rescue them? The Cajun Navy, along with other first responders. The Cajun Navy, by the way, organized during the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, helped out last year in Houston with Hurricane Harvey, being led by one of our guys here in Mount Pleasant, Jamie Huff. He's also helping organize some of the boat rescues down in North Carolina as well. So we really appreciate what they're doing as well.
This is our sister station in New Bern, North Carolina, had to be evacuated due to floodwaters, and our sister station in Myrtle Beach then taking over their coverage in that area. Florence moving very slow, Dave.
Yeah, and we're just going to have to watch it closely. I'm still expecting tropical storm force winds Heavy rain, so a little bit of localized flooding, but not too awful bad.
Thank you, Dave.
Plan on I can come in and relieve Emily for a couple hours till Chris gets in.
Okay.
Like 9.
It's not necessary, but
But at least I'm here.
Okay. Cool.
Yep, I got you.
I can. Thank you.
Can you talk to her at all? Yeah, I can talk to her. Tell her I'm still calling in. My IFB is busy. Okay. I'm gonna call up until we go on. That's right. We're here outside. We're here at Goose Creek High School. It's been turned into a shelter. A lot of people here. We're talking about close to so many people. They've already put the sign. The shelter is full. 400 people inside of those doors right there. There are close to 400 people inside of those doors right here, near capacity.